overtime, we actually put for a decrease this year with the proposal there. Again, you see the 900 spent this year. The reason that we kept that is a lot of our overtime for vehicle maintenance was being done outside of dredging, and when they're both our mechanics are our dredgers also. So if they're tied out there for a 9-10 hour day dredging, and we need vehicle repairs, it's after the hours. So that's why we didn't take it out completely, but we are looking at the reduction there to try to save a little bit of money, but making sure it just, dredging is really the season. If we have a real big season where the sand's filling in and they have to be out there dredging every day, then the cost equals out and it impacts other areas of the budget like vehicle maintenance. Taxes, retirement, health insurance, workers' comp comes from Mike's team on the calculations. The operating cost, the first is the communication and freight. Again, we will see a slight increase there, looking and depending on how we go with the vehicles on trackers and with the orders of equipment coming in. We may see, depending on what we get, some of that freight on parts that we have to order if we are blessed enough to get new vehicles on some of that order of stuff coming in for there. Rentals and leases, we did increase slightly for that because the rent, there's some things that the vehicle maintenance has tried to rent to make the jobs easier. They haven't been able to do it. So we were kind of calculating in, and the cost of some of the rentals have gone up in the past year or so. Insurance, again, that's Mike's team there has calculated those totals out for us. Repair maintenance, we are probably going to be right about on target with that one for this year. Just less than $1,000 off. I know that they've already ordered a few things there, so we'll probably be right there. We did ask for a slight increase to keep up with the increasing market. Operating costs or operating supplies. Well, that was combined with 550 with the machinery costs. That's why you see such an influx there. What we're asking for, it's kind of recategorizing and moving that up. I believe that was another one where it reflected in the budget, but not in our financing area. So that's why we see such an increase there. Uniforms, again, that one will be pretty close. I know that they've ordered uniforms for Troy and Nick, so that one probably going to be pretty close to being exhausted. Again, with the increases, that's why we've asked for the increase up. Fuel, again, that we actually took a cut on fuel a little bit to calculate it out, but again, when it comes to the fuel, that's one of the ones we don't want to play with too much, because depending on how things go with our fuel suppliers, it could double overnight, they could stay the same, so we kind of budget and prepare, make sure we have the fuel costs.
You got a $2 difference from what you did last year, or the year before, so it's pretty consistent in what it does.
Yes, sir. So, we had machinery costs, again, that's the one that we moved up, so that's going to be in the operating supplies. That covers the vehicle maintenance aspect. Any questions?
Another area you need to look at, there's a couple in there that I think you could probably reduce.
Yes, sir.
I will give him some kudos, though. It's good to see one where we're minus 17% instead of plus 17%.
Yeah.
We are looking to see what we can save, and not just spend money to spend it. We want to spend it on what works and what keeps the city the best in Bay County and North Florida.
All right, we'll move to Parks and Rec, and the salaries, again, based on 5% COLA and merit, and this Mark in this department has also asked for a new employee, and that would be the cost for a new employee being added to this department.
This is another critical department as we see the decline in the assistance from the sanitation department over in Park and Recs and the increase on what we do with Park and Recs. This season's been a very, very bad season with the seaweed. So there's been weeks where we've had 2 Park and Recs employees or even road kind of helping the Park and Rec employees be out on the beach every single day with the beach rakes. So to get another person onto Park and Recreation will be a massive asset. Plus, as the parks age and the more work needs to get into them, the more assistance we need to make sure we can get that done. We dive into the overtime first. Again, that overtime is going to pretty much be right on budget. Actually, maybe we may have to pull some of the overtime from other sections to get it over, but when we talk about every single day having extra people on the beach to assist us with the Leave No Trace and the turtle cruise, that acquires the overtime on top of Park and Recs. We started early this season making sure that we had the bathrooms in, the fish cooler manned every weekend, several hours, to make sure they're on top of it so that the overtime will be right there. We didn't ask for any increase this year because we do pull assistance from the other departments to kind of help us maintain the Park and Recs. But this overtime, we will be pretty much right at the 3,000 in Park and Recs, and depending on the other departments to kind of help out acquiring that.
So Park and Rec has 5 people in it right now, right?
Yeah,
5 full-time,
yes, 4 full-time.
4 full-time.
Yes, sir.
4
You
full-time.
want 5.
Yeah, it's a superintendent and then 3 parks. So we're asking if,
And that's not enough to take care of what we do.
not with all the projects that we're working on, sir.
Oh,
You do see what you did there on the payroll side, so I know you're asking for another employee, but you also went ahead and took the 50% from wherever it was and put it back in at 100 from last year
I'm your number 2 person.
on your number 2 person, yeah. So last year that was split with something. So basically we're putting that number back in there, and then, so that's like a, you know, I look at it like a person of 6,000.
But just
But it came from somewhere else.
body
Money,
wise,
yeah.
I think is what he's
Yeah,
really
it's still the
asking
same.
for.
We'll get all that information. It's just gonna it messes with my.
But is this, how did that request come forward? How did you evaluate you need another employee?
It's just the workload that we have and the projects that we're doing,
Per you, or per the superintendent, or per?
talking with the superintendents from both Public Works and from the Park and Recs, and when I sign on the tasks and what we need to get done, they haven't been able to get a lot of the projects completed. And we have a lot of massive projects going on top of it, which like the shells, for instance, and the various things, and trying to get these up to date.
The what, the shell?
Getting the shells out there to redo like the parking lots of all the parks. That's gonna be months alone on just 3 or 4 of the personnel working on that. We have to maintain the parks, we gotta keep them mowed, we gotta keep them, we're going through every single one of the beach access points and cutting the dune grass back and kind of clearing those up. We have the washouts on those walkways. We fixed it 3 times this week already with the heavy rains. Making sure that the beaches are raked, the beaches are clean, making sure that all the parks are clean, making sure that the fish cooler is washed out daily. Because if we don't maintain that daily, it gets very nasty.
And those tasks are not getting done currently?
No, a lot of it's getting behind, or we can't mow for several weeks, and we're playing a catch up, and then the other departments end up stopping road stuff to go help with park stuff to make sure the parks are good.
Have you tried to move a person to see if that actually fixes the
What
problem?
we did about 3 weeks ago is we split up, and the road guys we assigned to, because when I got here, the road department and the parks department just kind of worked as one big department, and just everybody kind of doing everything. Recently, what we're trying is we put the road guys with the road, and we put the park guys in the parks, and focusing on just maintaining the parks. Like right now, 2 of the park guys are just going down dedicated beach, just fixing any park issues on the access points. So that I got 2 just doing that. One just go out there mowing the parks and maintaining, getting branches cut and what we need there. So we kind of did that. It's helping a little bit on focusing on getting tasks done. It's just overall the need. The parks do take a lot of time and a lot of maintenance to make sure they're up to date. We want to remulch some of the parks. We need to weed some of the new mulch that's coming in, and stay on top of it. But with the personnel that we have, it's just we don't have enough to make sure it's the best quality that we can get to the residents here in Mercy Beach.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yes, sir.
This was gonna be one on this personnel stuff. We found, obviously, one employee down in a category. It
Yes, sir.
didn't get filled.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other positions that are unfilled at this time? And then, in that same being said, you're asking for a new employee, but also, I mean, I know we have people rotating in and out, we got a couple comp things, just happens, but
Yes, sir.
you've been here 7 or 8 months, if we get back, and I don't think there ever is a fully staffed, but, cause I know cause the adding employees is gonna be they're sprinkled through here, it's gonna be a big deal, it's a lot of extra money. So are you fully staffed every week now, or
We're down with 2 workers' comp that are out on workers' comp, so we're down there. We're down 1 road and street, and we're down 1 sanitation worker.
No, it still costs us.
It
We
still
have
costs
something
us
to
because
pay.
we're paying the workers' comp, but we're not. Mike would probably better answer. I believe that's just workers' comp that we're paying them at this point.
Well,
Yeah, that-
insurance, yeah.
I don't wanna get too much on those being out, but we've also had people leave, and it takes a while to fill that position. I guess I'm getting at
Yes, sir. Like cost savings on the downtime in between.
that, and, we're gonna have to really
And-
justify adding employees
And-
if we're not fully staffed.
Well, you brought up a good point, and me just being here 7 months and just getting, do we know what each department fully staffed is?
What is the fully staffed department?
Department, and I think that's
'Cause
what
you're
the
understaffed
charge
by
back
2.
to Mark.
He's understaffed by 2 by workers' comp.
Right now.
And that's just gonna happen that part will probably, but I know we went through some transitions and don't know the past, but, it's gonna play a big deal in adding new employees, if you know where I'm going with that.
The biggest difference, I think, from what we saw last year to this year is last year, and again, not to knock any previous administration or anyone previous, is we did a lot of maintain, just mow the grass, and make sure that palm trees are trimmed, and that's pretty much what they did. When a project would come, they would do a little project, get it done, but there was no long-term projects getting done. There was no weeding and make sure the mulch and the bushes are trimmed at all the parks, and they look the best that they can. So now we're trying to just take away from I just cut the grass every couple days and make sure that dirt is mowed, to making sure that it looks good and that we're checking it. Like yesterday, we had them at Sunset pull all the mats out, dig it all back out, and pressure wash underneath and get rid of all but that takes time. That was done by sanitation because we didn't have anyone left over from parks to get that done. But that should be stuff that we maintain on a regular basis to make sure we go and we check that all the playground equipment and nothing's broken, and that the people are out there taking care of it and keeping those parks the best that they can. We haven't been doing that because the past practice, but we asked for that person so that we can make sure we can get those done and that everything stays up to par. We don't get behind anymore.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that, but and maybe there's a little small chart that we can put together, and you can just look at one department or something of how many months in a cycle were we down an employee, whether they be out you know, they quit, it took 2 or 3 months to fill it. I mean, there's just all kind of things that just play into
Well,
that.
I know since I've been here, and just from a payroll standpoint, for 7 months, I know that there's been at least on a basis, there at least 1 to 1.5 person down just on workers' comp.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna, that just is part of doing business, I get, but.
No, I think.
Yeah,
you were
also,
asking for
are we
cycle
missing, yeah,
time.
we do wanna know that, but is there even the ones that just, are all the positions filled?
Other than the one maintenance position that we weren't aware of, until this
Okay.
budget season, everything else is full staffed.
So at this point?
Yes, sir.
Did you
But-
have something? Good.
But they're staffed, but they're not at work.
Right.
2 right now are not at work.
Okay, and I guess just going back, this is a budget issue, but it's not a budget issue. What's our historical, in your departments, historically, how many people month to month do we have out on workers' comp? If the answer is always got somebody out on workers' comp, then that's
It sounds like it's 1.5.
then in my view, from a business perspective, if it's 1 to 1.5 per month, every month, we've got a problem. We've got a real problem. And that's not a budget problem, we've got a problem.
Safety issue or whatever.
But I will go back and I'm gonna give Mark some kudos. Operationally, just what we've witnessed around town. We do have people now working on projects that I think as a council and a community, we all want to see done. We want our parks to be ship-shape. We don't want people just mowing dirt because that's what I'm supposed to do, Daddy, is mow this right away that doesn't need to be mowed. So kudos, kudos, kudos in that realm. And as a council, you know, I think we're gonna have to work with the administration here to figure out if we constantly got people out on workers' comp, how do we fix that? Because that's hugely expensive to the city.
Thank you. But, that's where we ask for that. Especially, in the park and recs and the road, that position, maybe we look at those as a year temporary, not permanent position to help us with just the shell portion and see how it goes and what it plays out and where it goes, and maybe if we can get the funding, we tell them, hey, this is a year, and then it'll be reassessed next budget cycle, and at least kind of get us afloat and get some of these major projects done.
Well, is it better to, we know we're seasonal, we know we have a cycle, you know, when we're really busy and not busy. Is it better for us to say that we'll okay additional overtime versus hiring a full-time employee?
I can check with I can look into that and see, and then get back with you guys on the next one. But the only area I want to just be careful with the overtime is some of this projects to work at night or whatever the case is may be a little bit more difficult, but as long as we can get it within a workday, where they can do it safely, then that might be an option.
You're looking for 40 hours a week, that's what you're looking for. So
Well,
you can say to yourself,
Yes,
if
sir.
I need a full-time employee, it's 40 hours a week. What does it look like if I do 40 hours split between 10 guys
Yes, sir.
in overtime?
And that might be, like, we could definitely stay late and work on projects, and that might help us speed things up.
Not asking you to do anything, just feeding you information.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely look at that and see, between our personnel and what we can get done in those hours, and maybe that might be a good possibility.
Yeah, it sounds to me like hiring another employee is probably, I don't know, if we was okay with that or
But
not.
then would you also increase your workman's comp because they'd be working such long hours and weren't mistreating insurance?
Yeah, that's a possibility. Always, anytime you do overtime, you start to delve into that. That's a good point. But you know, if you need 1 or 2 hours a week versus hiring a full-time employee, might be worth it.
So we're going into, we'll go get off of this, but you came in March. So you've been here, the majority of your time has been, so we will be going into what we call the off-season, where things are rotated, personnel is historically what I've seen, rotated, moved around, you know, make the best practices of what you got to. I'm just talking out loud, because the employee thing is going.
Well, I think we all recognize as the city grows and it's growing, it's gonna take more people
Yep.
to keep it looking the way we want it to look. So,
Pretty demanding.
So we dive into professional services. So it was budgeted 2,500 last year. We're only 82. We have, as you guys probably seen in the weekly meetings, we have coordinated with FSU and some of the partnerships to get some professional services to fix some areas that we saw delinquent in the HR investigation. So that probably be a pretty close wash in the future. We did ask for an increase there so that we can make sure that we provide that same level across the board to the members, and that we keep it that's what we expect of the employees and the services that we provide there to them. The freight and communications, we're about halfway through with that. For this budget year, we asked for a slight increase. I'll reevaluate that and see what we can maybe possibly save in that area. The rentals, we are over what our projected budget was. We did ask for an increase. Park and Recs is one of the heaviest areas that we do need rental equipment for, especially as we're kind of doing the shells and distributing and doing that area. And that's why we have asked for the increase. Well, I'm sorry, utilities. Utilities is an increase as we.
Your utilities account is made up basically of your portion of Duke Energy bills and your portion of the Mexico Beach water and sewer bills.
We have installed more restrooms, so we've seen the increase in the water there, and with the 98 project, there's been added some additional lighting there. So we do see that this budget year we are over, and we ask for the increase to 26 to make sure that we're on par with that. The rentals and leases, again, we should be right there with that. We did ask for an increase. They are billing for the street roller that we have, so that those increased billings for that will reflect, will be pretty close to the 12,000 on the renting of that equipment as we get those projects done. Insurance, that's the projected from Mike's team. That does Park and Recs, from what I've seen and what Mike's kind of explained to me, is I guess the most costly on the insurance aspect.
Well, one of them along with fire, and like it gets said, I'll have a better breakdown of everybody's classification, but you know, the more risk you have in the job you do, the higher the cost is going to be.
Can I ask you on that? I just don't know what you're. Please tell me that that's come from another, that you're just shifting money around again. That's not a so-called.
That 83.9.
So-called an increase that you shifted the money from, is it not?
That is actually what Car Rig's formula, when they allocate that big $500,000 check we write at the beginning of the year, that's how they amortize this thing.
I know, but what I'm asking, do you know if did they reallocate it from another account to make it look, to make this number, it's fine to be more realized number that department's costing us at, but Lord help me, look at the increase.
I will look at 24's allocation, and we'll see that next week in the column, and then I will also get their formula for how they figured out.
Yeah, I just want to see, I want to
allocation.
see if it came from another, you know, they probably, I would hope one account didn't, I'm hoping it shifted out of another.
That I can't tell you. Right now, I can't tell you that.
So since we're talking about insurance, is this just status quo, or do we shop every year, or do we just trust and mail our check in? I mean,
Probably closer to the latter.
we
And
trust.
I would have to, up until this year, I would have to defer that to Miss Tammy, because I haven't been involved in that.
This is not like your car insurance.
I understand, and
No.
there's a limited number of carriers.
Exactly, and so we're kind
But
of
still, it's a competitive market. And just for talking point here, if I just trust Mel and mailing my check every year and I don't know what company B, C, D, E, F can offer me for my business, $500,000 is a big check.
Now that we shopped it, if that's the question.
Yeah, I think we shop it if we're not shopping it.
Well, I think shopping it maybe for next year's budget might be appropriate that we work on between now and then.
Oh, exactly, that's just the
Right.
point
Well,
I'm
and,
making.
and
Because it's a big, big, big number.
It's big, and quite frankly, our history of claims have not been stellar. And so if we shop with that claim usage, we're not gonna do well by ourselves.
yeah, I just wanna know where the money, like, I flipped back a few pages, this says it all. I mean, you know, in canal expense, we used to budget, in 25, we budgeted 38,000. Year to date is 85, we budgeted 12,000. So obviously there's 25 grand that shifted from that account.
And I will.
That's all, I mean, as
Yeah.
long as,
You just
Yeah,
have to keep in mind as well too, that we have, the pavilions that were not insured and now they are. So that's a huge jump right there. Those were not insured before because we didn't have them. So it increased significantly when we.
yeah.
Sunset Park, Canal.
The way these categories just jumped was all, and maybe that's one thing you just tell us.
Yeah,
Your
I'll find
insurance
out.
was 480 last year, it's 500,000
I would imagine
this year.
it's
I don't
gonna-
care
I
what
would
account
Yeah,
it's
they're
in.
obviously,
This
they're
year.
obviously going
Yes.
from 0 to something.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't insured, it was 0. So.
Yeah,
Right. I will find that out.
okay.
Look at the repairs and maintenance, again, we're pretty much on target to meeting what we had in the budget this year. We did ask for an increase as things age and as more maintenance needs to be done. It would be pretty close to that for the next coming budget year. Other current charges, I got to refer to Mike on that one.
The other current charges, there are none in this budget year. It was just previous year, there was $1,500, and I guess it just, would stayed on that line item, for this coming year. But that's something we can look at into, but as of right now, and then we will go back and look at the 24 number as well, and see if there's any fluctuation in, maybe that's an item that doesn't need to be visited, again on the budget, since there's no activity in it.
Might be able to cut
That's
that.
$1,500.
Operating supplies, we asked for a slight increase. Again, we're pretty close, running up to the last few months to be right there at the operating supplies for 17, and then we have 25. Will be with the additional stuff that we bought for the beach to finish the pathways. Will pretty much be right there at that threshold. Uniforms, again, is the increase. We asked for a slight increase, and that's one of the ones on target for this year to be right at the budget. Fuel, here, as you can see, we are currently over what we had expected for the budget on the fuel and lubricant, with the areas, the other areas that we can try to reallocate that a little bit better, a little bit more sufficient. So we left it the same, we did not increase it, and then we spread it across the different divisions. This year is the first year that we've asked for a membership books and education, again, to start pushing some training. we think that, training certain aspects, maybe safety aspects, and that will cut down on workers' comp issues, cut down on injuries. We have a lot of new personnel that are working within, this department, so getting some backhoe training, getting some of the heavier machine training, all costs a little bit of money, but in the long run, it gets our workers, puts a little value into them, and keeps them safer. So we did ask for an increase, or line item to be added this year with some funding to help us with that. The improvements to the, looks like the rest of this is kind of some rollovers.
What's the improvement on the overtime of building? What is that?
Other than building.
Other than building.
I believe that was the restrooms, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
believe that's the Parker restrooms and
The big part of it was the restrooms, it was $266,000.
So that was, we do not have any projected for this 26 budget, but that was a lot of the projects that were wrapped up in the two parks this year. I'm not familiar with the M-Bar Reef on what came out of that, but I do not foresee that in our budget for this year. And machinery and equipment, we do not have any in this portion of the operating costs, and more of it coming from the capital costs. So in the capital costs, we had the machine and equipment. Again, we had the same issue with the truck that we've been trying to get to replace with the budgeted amount. We just haven't been able to so far. So we are working on that. If we cannot spend it and get the truck, we would ask to roll that over to the fleet for this year to try to help offset to get some replaced. Ask for the difference. We did get the zero-turn mowers, so those were purchased. We do not plan on asking for any for this coming year. The drive-on boat dock, that is in the works.
So 11.5 is not there then?
Right, they expensed out at
Okay.
98.96.
All right.
So the drive-on boat dock, Lieutenant Marty Williams is working on coordinating which one that is and what needs to be ordered to assist with the sheriff's office boat and or for the. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. Is that
Well, I got a
something they
question
should
I'm
be
just
paying
gonna
for?
ask here is this drive-on boat dock, is it for us and they're gonna get, or is it for the sheriff's department to perform their duty? Because the way the contract reads is they're responsible for any cost for them to perform their services here in Mexico Beach without it affecting us.
The answer is yes, both.
Both?
But it's also in this year's budget. It was passed in the budget last year.
Correct.
It doesn't mean we can't take it out this dock.
But I wanna make sure, because that's something that needs to be identified. Is it ours or is it?
It will be ours, it will physically be placed in our canal, and it will stay there forever and ever till the.
Yeah, and it's
Take it
not,
out.
it wasn't, I've heard about what this was used for. It's like they have a boat in the case they need to use it over here. They would have a place to park it, but I didn't take it that it was gonna be a full-time parking spot
It
for
was
a
more for
boat.
like the busy season, like when they put the jet
I don't
ski
know.
down there for the fire department and or, it could be used for the city. We could pull the dredging, boat that we have to get to the dredge and move the dredge. We could pull it up there if we needed to for repairs or maintenance or whatever the city deemed necessary for it.
Yeah, I gotta pull the dredge up in that.
Not the dredge, the dinghy for the dredge.
Okay, the small one.
We could get that up there, but that's why we're working on, with the sheriff's office to coordinate something that would be usable by all parties.
Is that the boat that we have in
Yes, sir.
that we keep up there?
Yes, sir.
No,
That's,
there's another boat behind us with the
Right,
sheriff's
sure.
office at the center, which is available. It's in the lean-to behind us.
Right. That's what he pointed to.
And they want to put that out on, basically on a floating dock so that it can be used like our jet ski out of Wilkes.
Oh, okay.
Well, the key
Well, I
is
was
they
wondering
want to,
about
if they
that.
want to, I think it's worth asking. If they willing to pay for that, if they want to do that.
I think they were supplying the boat,
That-
they're going to be supplying the floating dock. Fire department will have access to it as well.
Well, just a couple of days ago, we got the quotes for these things.
Yes.
I haven't shared with anybody yet because we've been kind of busy doing all this stuff. But it will belong to us. So any thought of making the sheriff department pay for it is not accurate. It's really for us. And they want to make sure it's large enough so not only can they utilize it for their stuff, but ours as well at the same time.
Well, seeing as how you got the quote, and we're looking at this number, what do you think?
What, 15,000? It's gonna be less than 15.
So it's for our boat that we use in the dredge. That's all we would use it for.
Well, the fire department said they would use it as well.
We'll have access.
And the sheriff's.
We'll have access to the semi-rigid that we kept on.
It could be, it's multi-purpose, it's not that we have anyone's permanent boat on it 24/7. It could be used for, if it's open and they have an emergency and they're trying to bring a boat up quickly for first aid measures, they can put a boat up on it quickly. They could pre-stage emergency vessels on it during season. Marty's team has agreed if we needed to on the public works side use their sheriff's office boat, we could kind of use it in conjunction with them or the fire department. So it was planned, from my discussions with this was something that went in front of the council and was discussed with the council and decided with the council in the past.
Permanent structure, right?
That's where we are with that.
Moving on.
The lean-to at the boat ramp, that was a project that was in the budget for this year. We were not able to get that done or accomplished, so it was pushed over to this new budget to continue it. And then we also look at the dune walkovers, and that's in the CIP, and all the engineering costs. Again, a little familiar with that one, I can dive into it more, but
And we're gonna do it when we do capital.
Yeah.
and the other projects that we have are the kayak launch.
Those in red are done.
Those, yeah, that was completed, so those are done. The amphitheater, that's underway at Parker Park. And then we have in there the assistance that the CDC gives us for the beach raking that we do continuous. And then this also mentions the truck in there, which I think we agreed we would cover in the whole vehicle, discussion. So I think that wraps me up for a little bit, so you can hear somebody else's voice, and then I'll come back.
Oh, we're enjoying it.
Mark, we'll leave you with the same thing. You need to get into all of those areas that you talked about.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully make some notes like we did.
Yes, sir.
And find deductions that you think that you can make, where there may be some fluff or not.
Yes, sir. We can definitely look, and I think we can get some savings back to the city and the council with recommendations. So we'll definitely dive into it a little bit more thorough.
We're gonna help you with that when you come back in a week, so be prepared.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll do our part.
Water.
All right, the next one is water, and of course, the next three will be our enterprise funds, so they will have a revenue source page, which is projected, and then an expense a cost page as well.
Where are we at? Is everybody okay with going forward? All right?
We're here.
Okay, all right? Okay. I'll make sure.
I mean, we don't want to schedule another meeting, right?
Oh, we will. I can tell already, right? Because we're not gonna get into it doesn't look like we're gonna get into the capital side of it.
We'll be here next week.
We're discussing it, but we're not working on it.
All right, good morning to the council. As you see here, I mean, the base salary, you know, Mr. Mike, put that together. We do have a new employee here. To be honest, I'm not too worried about that new employee this year. But maybe next year I will be trying to push forward with that.
So we can push that to maybe next year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do we skip revenues? You have nothing on that, Mike?
Yeah, well, the revenue, again, it's projected. I'll get a better figure probably when July and August finish. We did get our cost from Bay County, what it's gonna cost, and it's, the cost is a 3% increase, which, we will just pass on through. And so I just did a quick cost estimation with a small increase with that. The reconnection fees, when Mel and I were sitting down talking, we were trying to project will there be growth, how much growth in the next coming year? What do we know that's gonna be coming online to be able to help and project those numbers? And once I wanna get one more month's worth of actual data, and then I'm gonna take those and plug in my new numbers that I've calculated for the new rates, and then I should have should be close to that proposed, but I will have a better definite number.
It looks like we're gonna be terribly under, is that not? I mean, if you look at the history of the last 9 months and 3 that we have left, take an average, you're probably looking at a total of 1.1. And you have proposed there for 26.14, but budgeted 1.7.
I just wanna be, I wanna first I need to get the meters. So we had the 325 that we budgeted last year.
Mhm.
It's here, I see it in the 25.
Yes, sir.
But I don't see any expenditures here today. Have we not bought those?
Those would be,
Where are those, what happened? That's skewing the number a little bit. So I didn't know, you see the 325, Garrett and the 25, that's the 325.
Yes, sir.
I don't see any of that expended out. And then I guess, and on top of that, you may be under capital improvements plan, but
Well,
you don't have any proposed in 26, and I know the water meters are kind of a big.
yes, sir. Well, those meters there have been purchased. So that's the one that y'all approved last year. Those meters have been purchased.
The 325, yeah.
No, I think that came up to like 200,000. So I don't know. Okay, I know what it is. So the 200,000 for the meters, and
And
the
then
one
the antenna was
125
for
is for the
25.
tower. Yeah, for the
The
tower.
software.
Mhm.
But I'm just not seeing, and he's looking, I'm not seeing it expended out in that column.
Well, that's the revenue column.
Is that the
Oh.
reason?
Thank you, man. You let me sit here and talk all that.
I want to give you a little bit of rope.
Whoa, so we've been here for all this time, we're trying to cut back. Golly.
Hey, I wanna go back to just real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And this is for, Mike. For 25, up to June, we're at 991. If you average that out, that's about 110,000 a month. So you add that 330,090, comes out to about 1.2, right? So we're projecting another $200,000 increase going into 26. Is that what we're saying?
Actually, it's more than that. I mean, just our sales, the difference in the proposed water sales for next year is, I would think it'd be more than $30,000 or $40,000 difference.
well, again, I got the increases last week, and when I was working on this, I just did a flat 3% pass through on it.
Okay.
And then once I get another month of bills, and I've already configured the new water rates, then I can actually do a better number with the new water rates as far as what our sales were for the last year. With the new water rate, which will project out to the 26 proposed number.
All right, I'll look into it a little bit myself.
So on that same note, I mean, we had it in the budget last year, I mean, obviously you're gonna come up with a CIP number on, and once
That's-
again,
Yeah, Mel and I guess when we were, the last 2 days when we were going over CIP, instead of adding everything in grand total to the budget, that's why we were gonna have a CIP discussion and have you, we know, we've got every department on that CIP, and then you can
Okay.
let us know which ones are needs that we can actually add into that budget instead of throwing everything on there.
All right, Garrett, up to you.
Okay, well, a lot of my budget increase was due to the tariffs. I mean, I wasn't sure how that was gonna affect the, products and equipment wise. You can see right here from under the accounting auditing, we, budgeted 29,488 and we're at 20,000 already. I put 29.5 for 26 proposed. Do the collections, to 500 and then 500. A lot of this I kept the same because I didn't see that changing as much. I mean, you can go based off the numbers from this year to the next year. I didn't see those items increasing. My biggest aspect or where I changed things are the repairs and maintenance. Did y'all want me to go line by line, or can I just focus on?
I was gonna suggest really based on time, if you want to, if the council, we can either go line by line, or we can actually say where we have questions.
Yes, okay, that's all.
That may make it easier for you.
Yes, sir, it does.
So if we go to each one of them, professional service, any questions on those? Auditing and accounting? Collections?
Mm.
Travel? Communication? Freight? You doubled the freight?
Yes, sir.
which had,
How come?
I don't know why that's double, because I mean, you don't have anything here from,
All right, we just ask that you look into it and
Yes,
see
sir,
if it's a good number or not. Okay. Utilities? Any questions? Bay County utilities?
it seems like is that a pass-through, or is that 18% kind of a pass-through?
Yes.
Is that what we're dealing with? 304, I mean, it was 257. And then we collected, but that ain't, we're not done. And then, yeah, okay.
And Reynolds leases? Insurance, go by that. Repair and maintenance?
I mean, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say that one went up for,
yes, sir, for the tariffs. We just,
Yeah, we just-
put some meat on it, just being the fact that we really didn't know how that was gonna affect everything.
So you're at 70,000 year to date and you have 3 months left? You got
Yes, sir.
3 more months.
And I mean, a lot of this from repairs and maintenance is being that it's my first year, I tried my best to keep the budget under control, but it's a lot of things that could have been, I could have got fixed, that I kind of tried to put off. If that makes any sense. If it wasn't important, I didn't get it, if it wasn't necessary at the time.
Yeah, I think the council would ask that you take a look at it,
Yes,
to
sir.
see if, jumping $30,000 or jumping 20,000. Printing, Anything on Brandon? Other charges, bad debt, office supplies, operating supplies,
Is that,
anybody can jump in there.
that's, operating supplies, what does that encompass?
Well, that's where we buy our water meter, like just
So
regular.
that would be something that would impact you by tariffs then?
Not,
I mean, I'm just looking, or is it the
It
number
could be.
up because of you plan to add more water meters?
well, I mean, the amount of water meters that, you know, the city is getting bigger, so those meters, we do have to replace more, like you got to buy more.
Right.
So, and those are like $350 a piece.
I just, saw that it went up
Yes, sir.
significantly.
But that, yes, sir, you're right, that's part, I didn't know, but that brass, if that was gonna affect the price or not.
Gotcha.
We have quite a few meters still out there, is that we just haven't got them installed yet, or?
Yes, sir, well, and that's part of the capital improvement plan, we got a 506, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but 530 meters in the system that just completely out. I did talk to Mr. Mill and Mr. Mike, and we did find that we can get the heads for the meters for a lot cheaper. So the meters, like I say, they're sales. If you get the entire meter, it's $350. If you get just the head of the meter, it is $240. $240 a piece. So I mean, that's gonna save on time and effort to get those meters changed out.
So when you say they're out, that means that you have to physically manually
Yes, sir,
read?
manual read, yes, sir.
There's 5 of them, 500 in the field.
Yes, sir, 500 and,
That you physically have to manually read?
yes, sir. Mhm.
How many you have here? How many meters do you have here to replace those?
We have, I have to go get a count on them, but I know the last time I checked, we replaced 320. And that's just,
So how many did you buy? What do you have left here? Do you have 200?
meters. To
Yeah.
replace, no, sir.
0?
No, meters in stock or meters to
Yes,
replace?
meter in stock.
Oh, we got at least 100, I would say. But the 520, the 520, that's a whole nother count. Those are the meters that's how many meters that went bad since we got the 400 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, you can expect this to happen. I mean, year by year, you're gonna have more and more meters go out because you got to think a lot of these meters that's in the ground and part of these 520s are meters that was placed 10, 15 years ago. So
Just a clarification.
Yes, sir.
It's not that the meters are bad themselves, it's the reading of
the
the
read,
meters.
yes, sir, the reading mechanism.
But I don't
That's
think people
right.
think that they're gonna get water bills that are crazy.
Oh no.
It's not a bad meter.
Exactly, but yes, sir, that's just the heads of the meters that are not reading properly.
Okay.
So for your department, when you physically have to manually get out of the truck, open the thing, and manually read that meter,
Mhm.
that adds labor and time.
Yes, sir. It normally takes the guys, if we jump on them, we can get them done in 2 days. But that's fully focused, your main focus of that day is getting those meters read.
So you said they're 240 a piece or three?
Yes, sir, just the heads of them. Mhm.
Just the heads.
Yeah,
And it's quicker to change just the head.
just the head, yes, sir.
Uniforms? Fuel, lubricant? Membership? Machinery?
So why did we have 79,000 in the budget and we spent nothing year to date?
That machinery and equipment moved up into, it didn't exist. And I don't know why it did not get included in this year's proposed budget. I'll have to go back and look and see, I might have missed putting a number in, but I don't recall why that's not there.
24 shows a $75,000 expenditure.
Right, and then in the 26, there's nothing. I'll have to go back and look at the papers that Jared gave me, I might have missed putting the number in, I'm not sure.
Ready to move to sanitation?
Is that the three items under the capital?
Welcome.
Yep, what do you got?
No, we'll do it. Better to move on.
I don't know if you wanna go to sanitation.
Sanitation is gonna be
Not a good sort.
you wanna go to expenditures, or you looking at the revenue?
I wrote revenue, I'd rather have, the city administrator and also, finance maybe make some comments on it. You would?
Well,
What you see?
well, first of all, Mike will tell you that the auditors have brought it up, that in the past few years, we have been woefully negligent of increasing our rates to where they should be to fund what expenses we have. You know, this whole enterprise fund barely makes any money, and there's no money to squirrel hole away for future trucks, that sort of thing. So, I don't wanna talk increase now, but we've done our best to get the proposed rate as best we can with a slight increase that we try to do, a slight one each year to keep up with inflation, but not go overboard. So we'll leave the overboard talk for later, but at this point, we just used the slight increase to try to guess what the rates would be for next year.
But it looks
That's
like
on the-
sanitation's not supporting it.
And that's on the revenue side. On the expense side, through this budget process, there are items or services that we're providing that we're not even billing for. So we're not even billing for some of those services.
Keep that in mind.
Such as, yard waste pickup.
Well, yard waste pickup, we contract with the guy to drive around, and
But that charge is still an expense that,
we're not recouping any revenue from.
no, sir.
And
And then special pickups or anything like that, I've spoken with Mark, there is a process in place to where we should get notified for any extra billings that might need to occur, if we need to make a special trip out to a resident's house or whatnot, and that's not getting captured as well.
Where's the bulk of that revenue coming from the monthly charge? Right?
Yeah, it's, is, hold on.
Charge we put on the water bills plus the dumpster fees from businesses.
Yeah, it's basically sanitation, 2 pickups a week is, we're charging them per month $35.03.
We budgeted 743,386.25, and year to date, we got a few more months, so
We're still not gonna hit it.
we're not gonna hit it. And so you put this proposed,
When I look at this proposed,
Yeah, well,
we're gonna be short even there.
And that,
we'll have to get some explanation of where the proposed came from. Is that increase? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I don't know how you propose we're not even hitting the number.
Where's the 15% come from?
I think it was like a 21% increase.
Initially.
Oh, I mean expenditures.
Yeah.
That, I think.
I know you got the prior year.
Question.
Let me.
You did plug in the prior year surplus, I see that. That's 45.
Let me,
Yeah.
let me suggest this to the council and see if they agree. The numbers show that we may have an area of concern, correct?
Yes.
So why don't we go through his operating costs and come back on this as how do we come up with a solution to fix the problem? The shortfall. We have one question from,
It was either last year or the year before, we discovered that Garrison, who runs the big black truck for the yard pickup, was still operating on the emergency costs. Did we ever fix that? I mean, we were still operating under the emergency contract where the charges were elevated. Did we ever fix that?
I think we did that
Last year, we had a new rate system.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
I'm pretty sure we didn't. I'm pretty sure we can double check this.
I've got a note to dig the contract down.
Yeah.
Great, sir. So within this, I know this is,
Already said it.
we did ask, for one additional, as we get the third truck up and running, right now, we have, 2 trucks that run, or once we have everything in working order, 2 trucks that run with a driver and 2 slingers, and then one that just runs with a driver and a slinger, that's running back there and they're stopping it. So we did ask for it so that we had 3, 3, and 3 on the trucks as we progress forward with more waste. So that is the reason that we have asked for the increase of the additional employee. Overtime budget, year to date, we spent over 9,000. We had budget of 15,600. We asked for the same thing. With the continued overtime, each day to get to Steelfield, we have shifted back to Steelfield to try to save money. But that does require more overtime going back and forth, and then on the weekend. So we should be pretty close to budget on that overtime. Taxes, retirement, health, workers' comp, that's calculated by Mike's team. Any questions on that area?
operating costs.
All right, operating costs, we were not budgeted at all for professional services with, what's going on. We do have that category that was spent this year. We did ask for 100 next year to attempt to help us cover if that does come back. Accounting and auditing, we should be pretty close to being on about that. We're about just under $700 off on that. So we did ask for a slight increase to cover those costs with any of the auditing as an enterprise. The tipping here, it says that we are under the year budget. I'll tell you this, with the current rate, every trash truck that leaves here for tipping is over budget. We have exhausted every means of tipping. So that this is I guess a little older number, but we have blown our tipping this year.
Are we tipping them locally or are we going?
Well, when I got here, prior to me, they had redirected all trucks to go to Gulf. Gulf's a little more money, but it saves on the overtime. That's why we see that there was a slight save in the overtime. Recalculated, kind of going over this, we've redirected everything back to Steelfield, which will save, but we're going to increase on the maintenance of the trucks, on the overtime of the personnel, and then we lose from speaking with Troy, we're going to lose several tires a year because you're driving up the trash and they puncture the tire.
So why are we making a decision to go back to that?
Because overall the tipping's about half the fee of what we're spending with Gulf, so it's we save a little bit. It's not astronomical, but we do save a little bit by going there, but it's not. That's why we kind of shifted to
I'm
Gulf.
looking for an offset here because what you just said to me doesn't make sense.
Well, and not only, those trucks, just the operational cost, driving that extra distance.
We can keep going to Gulf on everything. Like truck 8 can't go to Steelfield. that has to go to golf. We will make.
Are you saying, no, I'm sorry, I interrupted. Are you, so our fees year to date in '24 were 114,000. I get that they moved. We got a few more months. We budgeted 140, correct?
No, you're in the wrong.
No, I'm in the wrong. We budgeted 140. Yeah, I'm back to 25. We budgeted 180. Here it is. We've spent 154.
But he says more.
We're
We've got
over,
three
we're
more.
over, we're over 180.
Part, the garrison costs have been going into those tipping fees.
You gotta remember
it's
the,
not-
the
I
garrison.
figured by now, the way your expressions are, that it would already be reflected in this number, but it's.
With probably with the holidays, maybe it hasn't caught up yet, but,
Yeah, it's going
but we
to.
keep track of it, every
Yeah.
single one, we're over. You gotta remember with the the cattle, company that does the Mark Garrison, the fees before was like a 6% on the tipping for everything, pick up and get disposal. Now it's like a 6 and like a 7.3, so we've almost doubled in the cost of yard debris. We've looked at it, it's almost 190,000 that we're gonna be paying a year on yard pickup. We've looked at it and it might be cheaper in the long run to buy a truck ourselves and we pick it up on Wednesdays. That's something me and the administrator and Mike have kind of gone and covered. But,
Did you say 190 just for
we're
yard?
about
My help.
what?
I'm saying she'd be my help on this sanitation.
Yeah, come on up here, Miss January.
Well, only because I know what's been going on since Tommy with the tipping fees. So Garrison, when we signed a new contract with them, almost doubled what we were paying. So that went up to, we were paying 100,000. That almost went up to another probably 90 to 100,000 more. Because we were only paying $8 a cubic yard. And when we got the new contract, it is now $7.77 to pick up and $6 to dispose.
But that
Cubic
was,
yard.
that was kind of, after the storm and those prices, I think those prices were high.
Up until we signed a new contract last year,
Yeah,
we were
we
paying
signed.
$8 a cubic yard flat.
Are we picking up the same amount or less? I would
We're
think less.
probably, I mean, with the yard debris, we're probably picking up a little bit more. I mean, we're trying to crack down on, outside landscapers. We're trying to catch them doing that and contacting them, but, I can go and get the cubic yardage from last year compared to this year and have it for you next
But
week.
here or there, you're saying the rate doubled, and how did we?
Basically, almost
Was
double.
that a bid
Yes,
packet? So they were happy to be the lowest,
yeah,
but we didn't look back at.
Wow.
That's
that
what
hurt
kind of
us.
impact the tipping
yeah.
and then we're throwing money away, not to speak online, but the dumpster at the boat ramp, that's
Gets
money
filled
that
every day.
every week that's filled up, and that's something that we go
What is
dump. The
it? Not
dumpster,
by
the
resident.
dumpster at the boat ramp, we're paying that as a city to go dump that constantly. I mean, that's slap full every weekend. I've been out there, I've caught commercial businesses from Port St. Joe and from the Cape coming out here and dumping, but unless we put a person there 24/7, they're
Yeah,
gonna
we
keep
had
doing it.
talked about removing it, but it didn't work, and nobody wanted to. And then we put the fence over for the
Fence and
barriers.
they just stack it on top and they stack it all
But we
around.
need to get back, and Mel's pulling it, I don't wanna get into it, we've been here for a while, this contract with the yard stuff, we need to figure out what. That part, but even if you take that out of the equation, sanitation's still,
That's an issue.
It's,
Yeah.
and then like the next one, the compactor fees, we're already over that because what happened with that was when that was budgeted last year, they looked at the initial invoice and they predicted off of that, which was like 1,200.
Yeah.
That wasn't an invoice for picking up the waste, that was an installation fee. So
Is
it's
this
almost,
over at Port St. Joe or? St. Joe Company?
it's
Crossing.
crossing.
The crossings, yeah.
They're compactor.
can,
So that, we estimated like 1,200 based off of what they thought was the invoice, which was installation. It's more like 2,500.
25 on
Can
average.
can you look back at that contract also? I think it says in there that we would not be responsible, that whatever it would be, they would pay. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
Well, they
already
pay
paid
us through the billing. They pay for 2 dumpsters at all 9 buildings. That's what they pay.
When we went to the compactor and signed the agreement with Waste Management,
Yeah. They bill us.
there's some language, if I'm not mistaken, in that contract that's,
Are you saying based on what they're paying us and what we're paying out, we're paying more?
No,
Oh,
we're actually
okay,
not.
that-
Oh, I thought that's what.
But-
No, but on here, when
On the,
we,
on the budget wise, they blew the budget.
We just
because they-
didn't budget it
For
right.
the budget for 24, they estimated an incorrect invoice. So when they extrapolated that, when they budgeted in 24
Well, we got,
for,
on the revenue side, we're not losing money, but on the budget side, it looked like we blew the budget.
right.
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but you've got,
compactor fees.
and you've got this 26 proposed at 35,000.
Right, because I think what he was saying is, when they extrapolated out the invoice that they looked at for the 25 budget, it was $1,200, and it really wasn't for the service that's being provided. It was an installation invoice. And what they're saying now is an average cost is 2,500, so that's why that they're gonna be over budget.
Yeah, because they didn't start picking up the compactor stuff until like October, I think.
The actual-
So we had no way of knowing.
The actual deal is working.
Yes,
It's
that
just-
deal
yeah,
is
the
okay,
revenue,
yeah.
it's just,
The
the
budget
budget
number,
wise.
the budget number
Yes.
that was requested.
It doesn't
Yeah.
You're just seeing a number that shows up in another area.
Right, right.
But we're getting the revenue to cover it.
Yes,
Yes.
that one we do,
Correct.
yes.
The communication and freight right now, has about 500, that does increase because
Thank
we.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. We have, had some invoices coming in because of, parts that we had to order for truck 8, so that one will be just about that, that cost there. We have, spent rentals and leases, we was not budgeted last year, we are asking for it to be budgeted this year to cover for that. Hopefully with the new truck, maybe some of these other repair, prices go down. But the other trucks are aging, so we don't, insurance, that's Mike's team calculated the difference with that. Repairs and maintenance, we are over to the budgeted amount. We are asking for a little more, again, with a new truck that we are asking and hoping and praying for. That will cut the cost down for truck 8, but it's not gonna cut the other trucks are aging and will require, regular maintenance. So we did ask for a little bit more to keep us, going with there. The printing and production, that's a category that we may be able to cut a little bit down. However, we have been using some of that in some other areas that we are over, to try to keep the budget afloat.
What is that?
Pull up the, Mike, do you have the?
That is actually their portion of the cost for the leases of the printers.
Printers.
So it's a split cost
Mhm.
between departments.
Correct. So we may be able to cut a little bit of extra there, so I'll go through that and see what we can do. The other, current charges, Mike, you had the breakdown of that one?
Looks like it's built in with, bank fees, a couple hardware runs, and that's it, mainly, it's mainly bank fees.
So that may be another area we can kind of cut down, and then also with the office supplies, we've been trying to cut down on, as much paper as possible, and then that is helping a little. Operating supplies, we are about halfway through the budget with that. Again, as, we progress, there are some talks, and I think we're getting the sanitation, but there are some talks and things that we want to try to implement or change, but, that may influx that operating supplies and trash cans and that kind of stuff, so I think that would be better for the whole overall sanitation discussion.
You're gonna come in at probably $4,000 or something for the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
But you're increasing it, your 7,500, you're never gonna hit, probably, the 25, unless you know something that we don't know. But, it looks like you're almost doubling what you're actually gonna hit.
Yes, sir. Well, that's why we're saying, with sanitation, there's a lot of things that we were kind of discussing, things that we're, trying to do. I know we're talking about, trying to implement and trying to see if we can get recycling. We're talking about the trash cans, try to get something a little more uniform that the trucks and the tippers can actually use and maybe cut down on workers' comp injuries and getting the cans for the various, like a matching kind of uniform can across the board, not 96 with tires, like a lot of the other cities. So those are the areas that we've kind of increased some of these to see if we can accommodate, but that's, I think, overall sanitation.
Mark, you can throw a lot of stuff on the wall and see what sticks, but the way that we get information from you, it needs to be a little bit more solid.
Yes, sir.
If that makes sense, I mean,
Yes, sir.
I don't know how the council feels, but this is my opinion, okay? And you're just giving me a bunch of things that you could do or wanna do.
Well,
This has to be more precise if we're gonna
Well,
double something
we,
up.
as a sanitation, we want to implement the 96-gallon trash cans at every residence with tires. We've talked to Waste Management in the recycle discussions, and we want to go that route, and we think it would cut down on injuries and make it a little easier for the sanitation guys to wheel it out, get it to the trucks.
So how is that a cost to us if we're gonna tell the citizens to buy a 96-gallon?
The discussion was that we were gonna get it, in the recycling deal with Waste Management, is it would be $48 a can that they were gonna make, and get the cans for us. We haven't got any response back on the overall cost for the recycling, because we would have to get the compactors here, to get the recycle back here, and then we put it in, the Waste Management would pick it up and bring it to their recycling facility. So part of the deal that we were talking with them is bringing in the trash cans and providing it. The feedback that I was getting was that, with the feeling of this community that they would not probably go get the trash cans themselves, and that we would be, liable to get those. So that's where we're kind of going back and forth on it. But I think that was a discussion that we wanted to have about sanitation overall with the council, and see which way you guys wanted to go with, if that's something we mandate, if that's something that we make them pay up front, if that's something that you guys want us to do at all, or we just maintain.
You're talking on the recycling side.
On the recycling side, and that would impact the Waste Management was talking about a green can, like a blue can, for instance, that has the city logo and kind of pushing out, this is what we're going to do and how we're gonna do it. And then we change all that at once. But that's, I don't wanna jump the gun with that, but that's something that we wanted to present and give to the council, see if that's something you guys wanna vote and do. But we're trying to prepare the budget for it to make sure that if that's something we're going to implement, that we have it in the budget to implement it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a sanitation discussion. I think we
Well,
need
that's
to-
why I didn't wanna.
Well, I think you skewed some of the, when I heard the recycling, I wanna get that separate.
Separate, okay.
Because we gotta get when we talk about, we gotta get sanitation an idea, and then we need to have we need to know the numbers on the recycling and then see where that,
Yes, sir.
but I think we're,
Yeah,
put a lot of fees in here.
it looks like it's like $4,000 that could probably be cut, and we can still do everything we normally do. But if we go to recycling, which we don't even have an answer from them yet, I just,
Yes, sir. We can cut that.
well, I don't want you, I'm not telling you
No,
to
we're
cut,
just
I'm telling you
discussing.
to review it. See if it's a good decision.
What, yeah, give us we're gonna talk about sanitation. I mean, we need a number of what it costs to run this system.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think from a business perspective, you know, if it's costing us more to pick up trash than we're bringing in on the revenue side, the choices are really simple. You either cut the service or you increase the cost. I mean, it's just pure and simple, right?
Right.
I mean,
Got the
the
cost
city-
to get more revenue.
We can play games with the voters and the taxpayers and say, yeah, you know, twice a week trash, and yeah, we're gonna add this, and we're gonna do that, but here's the reality, is what we're doing on the sanitation side is not efficient. You know, I've had discussions with Mark on this topic. I don't know who's on, you know, workers' comp leave right now, but when you see some of the trash generated in our city during tourist season, and guys are lugging these trash cans without wheels from the back of a residence to the street and dumping them, all this goes into employee costs. And you know, yeah, I'm with, Mr. Mayor, I'm with you. We can scrutinize these little $4,000 line items, but the big elephant in the room is the $500,000 a year in personnel costs before we start adding the other operational costs. So this is a big elephant in the room right here. You know, this is $1 million on our budget.
And you say that, and then the Garrison money is in this? That's where you're putting it, so we'll get your contract, so, I mean, that's a.
We've been
That's a big
calculating
one right off
the
the
tipping
top.
fees.
Well, and then the adjustments to the bills, I mean, we're gonna have to do, we can't eat $190,000 every year.
No.
So that's gotta be that's gotta be addressed as well.
I mean, I think we're all charged with finding a solution to the problem.
Now you do simple math and take 190 divided by our citizens, and that, sorry I said that, but it's reality. It has to go
We've
somewhere.
even talked about with 190, can we buy the truck ourselves and on Wednesdays have one or two of our guys out go pick it up? It would cost the same maybe the initial year, but then after that, you wouldn't be just operating, keeping it running.
Well, I think that the city administrator and that financial director have identified an area that the council needs to look at separately of the overall budget and come up with a solution. Same as we do with the capital and sanitation, we need to look at it. It's something we need to solve. Go ahead, Mark.
Uniforms, we are over budget on uniforms, with the rotation that we've had on sanitation workers, and getting more uniforms, plus they're the highest within Public Works that, the uniforms are destroyed or they get ruined or, in the line, so we are asking for an increase there. We are behind, we've been, pulling some of that out of other areas within the budget to make it work. The fuel costs, again, this is a little bit further down because the tipping fees are higher by going to golf. So we may be able to cut a little bit of that if we increase the tipping to offset the difference from driving the steel field and going to golf. So we might be able to cut that down a little bit. If we keep going to golf, it won't be as far. The books, memberships and all that is again, trying to push a little bit of increased training out there and maybe cut down on some of the injuries and issues that we've been experiencing within the sanitation department. We are not asking for any of the machinery equipment in that section of the budget. It's moved down to capital costs, replacements. Again, so
The garbage truck.
the garbage truck is what we're asking for this year. As of right now, the quote was about $280,000. That would take the place of truck 8, which is extremely aging. It's been down. We just got it back working with a pretty significant invoice to get that transmission even moving on that. So, but we do need a sanitation truck this year. I think out of everything, that would probably be one of the top items in the budget.
Now, why did you put this out here? Mike, just we'll move July 25th.
Well, those are funds that were I was gonna investigate if that's ever been done before. We put monies aside to go into those,
Funds?
yeah, and I just wanted to verify in prior years, looking at a journal entry to see if we actually did move funds into those. sanitation side, or the water side, or the sewer side, and actually move them into those funds. But I'm gonna look into those, and then if they have been made, I'll just make a journal entry and move them out.
That's, and on the sanitation, again, it's not that we're trying to BS the numbers and all that, it's just, sanitation is a failing enterprise with us, it's not making us any money or revenue, and there's things that we gotta address on it, and that's why we're trying to gear up, most injuries are coming from there, it's the most issues, so we gotta address it, I understand the careful balance that is an extremely touchy situation with this city, so we wanna handle it with gloves, and that's why we're trying to do it the best and easiest way we can, not to, set a wildfire.
Appreciate it.
Mark, is there any way, like, I'm thinking about the tipping fees, and they're so high. If we were able to work out something with Waste Management, is that who the recycling company we were checking with? Is it- Okay, just think how much that could save in tipping fees, time, hours, workforce, workman's comp, because about half your garbage, when you really look at it, it could be recycled.
If we switch over to the recycling, they're trying to get us some calculations on now what they think it would drop down on the tipping. We probably would see a pretty significant tipping drop. They projected in the meeting that we had possibly up to about 30% is what they were thinking that we would see in a reduction on the tipping to bring in recycling. The good thing with the recycling, if we go their route, it would be something that we would put everything together. It's not something we have to sort, that would be 100% done on their side. We would have to be the ones that implement the picking it up, because when we talk to Waste Management on kind of how we do things and what the curbside service and all that, they pretty much said for what we charge and what they do, that's not even an option that they would ever look at right now. We provide a service like no other city to the residents, and that's where I think we're a little bit behind in that area.
And the recycling program will only be as good as the residents participating in the recycling
100%.
program.
If they
Now, if they don't, it just goes in the trash, and tipping fees don't really change at all.
correct, and that's something that Waste Management talked to us about, is that we would have to train because if our cross-contamination becomes an issue, that impacts what they charge us. So what they pretty much recommended, what they told us in the training, if we go that route, is if they get to a can that looks completely cross-contaminated, that just goes into the trash truck, not to the recycling hole. So that's something that we would have to kind of prepare and be ready for as well. Overall, it may help us drop down on the tipping, and we would be the first city in Bay County to go to this route. But overall, it's what you guys want and the direction you want to give us on that. But I think switching to the cans with the wheels and all that, overall, I think will help us on the sanitation guys route. I went out July 5th with them, and I rode the truck the entire day, and there's a lot of potential there. They pick up a lot, and the trash is only increasing. We this last holiday, we went out there 4 or 5 times and picked up the trash on the beach cans and all that. It's just, I don't understand where they get all this trash, but it's awesome.
Well, and we'll talk about it, but the can thing is, it's a way for us to monitor
Yes, sir.
I wanna say, the tour, the rentals. Then we know that they are required, if they're over, they can purchase,
A second.
rent another can
Correct. Yes, sir.
and pay their share. I mean, we've tried some other programs in the past, but I think a uniform can, then we know what's going on. That's kind of what they do in Gulf
Well,
Island. Yes, some other places.
and look, it's no secret, I've been a proponent for getting recycling here for years. And I believe we might be surprised. We're gonna have residents and tourists that will ignore it, they won't care. But we also have, most of the people that come and vacation here come from a city where they have a blue can at their house.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna become kind of a second nature. They're gonna say, okay, my plastic, my aluminum goes in, and they'll do it unconsciously. And, I think it'll be a win-win, but it's obviously financially, we've gotta do something.
I would like to just add, we've tried all of these programs. We used to Tower Recycling, it didn't work out. We've never found a way to keep outside contractors and commercial enterprises from using our facilities. That's a huge issue. And we have to look at another elephant in the room, which is we've got to put some of this cost of picking up the tourist-generated trash back on the tourists. We cannot continue to subsidize those tourists and the amount of trash that they bring into the city. So somehow, you've got to come up with an idea of charging them in some way for us to clean up after them.
Well, there may be some ways to do that. I mean, it's just a point of, what I see, the residents normally go to the curb with their trash.
Yes.
Tourists do not go to the curb with their trash. So there may be a fee that could be added to if you have to go up and get it.
But there's also the sheer amount of trash.
That's valid. I think a 96-gallon can, if it's being dumped twice a week, you've really got a bunch of trash if you fill that thing up twice a week. And from what you've seen, and I've seen it at these rentals, we've all seen it. It's not a 96-gallon can, it's a small pickup truck load
Yes.
that's got to be picked up.
And they play games with us, and we're trying to monitor it better. In the past, they were just doing it, but if they live on a corner, they'll put trash out here, and then they'll put trash out here the next day. So they're getting 4 pickups a week. So we're trying to put a stop to that, but I don't know where they get it. They drive to Port St. Joe and pick up all their friends' trash and bring it here. I don't know.
No, they just accumulate a lot. That's where the cans come in, you rent them.
I think that will regulate a lot. If we have a set can, and then if you're a place that produces so much, and like, hey, you had 3 violations of over, you are required to buy a second can, we make you get it, that might help us with the cost.
I mean, there's some cans on the side of Beacon Hill, that houses, they have 3 or 4 cans.
That's because Gulf County requires,
Yeah.
depending upon how many
Bedroom.
people your unit will sleep, you are required to have a can for, if your unit sleeps 20 people, you're required to pay BCC for 4 cans, whether you fill them or not. That's what you're required to pay for. So they do it based on the capacity of your property.
I think there's a lot of models and things that we could probably look at that we haven't looked at, and I think the city administrator started doing that, and starting to identify some areas that maybe we might be able to change.
But I said, back to the budget part, when y'all are sitting down, try to get that formula. Trucks, because now we're needing another garbage truck. That's a capital, we're using that as a capital, it's not in the cost operational.
That's just one big write that check.
We gotta wrap our head around that whole
We
number.
should be making, not to make a bunch of revenue, but we should be making revenue, not losing revenue within that
That's right.
enterprise.
Well, we just need to cover the cost.
All right.
Thank you, Mark. All right,
Last
everybody
one
ready?
is,
Okay.
last one is sewer. And again, on the revenue side, I just got the letters last week. I did, it took me a while, but I was able to finally reach out to Adrian to help me to figure out how to compute water and sewer and all that going forward, because there's no formulas and there was nothing in the city that would lead somebody, if I got hit by a truck or Mel got hit by a truck, to be able to go forward to compute these rates. So I have built out a spreadsheet for water and for sewer and for sanitation that shows how we do pass-through rates. So if, when I retire in 10 years, the next person can pull that spreadsheet up and say, oh, here's the formula, here's how we do it, and then it can go forward. So I will have a cleaner number next week. I haven't had time to be able to take the numbers that I just figured out how to calculate and put those into this year's actual billings that we had, so I can compute the new rate versus what we've actually billed this year.
Oh, big thank you for doing that, and obviously, thank you for Adrian for giving us a hand, appreciate that. Good.
Okay, you wanna do like you did last time?
If you want.
We're hungry, aren't we, Gary?
How are we looking on the overtime, everybody okay with that, or that's a?
Well, there, I guess to point out, there is a line item on there as well for a new employee, so.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind. New employee.
And is that another one that can be pushed to the following?
Yes, sir, it can.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, things are getting kind of in a crunch. I mean, like, to say for instance, last week we had to put 12 meters in Salt Creek, and it pretty much took the guys half the day to do, all the guys, half the day to do it, being that they had to dig it up, make sure the meter box was level, and on top of that, complete the work orders in a timely manner, so. Not this year, but maybe, hopefully next year, once they get everything built out, I can see, us needing at least one person.
What do you call next year?
Not
the budget we're
27,
going?
27, year 27.
They already giving it up.
He did it on the water side too. On the water
Covered
side too.
65,000.
All right, Mark.
He did it on the water side too.
I mean, I'm just being realistic.
I know,
I'm just
keep
being
going.
realistic.
Okay, taxes, retirement, health, workers' comp, any question on any of those? Obviously, everybody's biting at the bits to get real insurance numbers.
Yep.
Okay, operating costs, professional fees. County? Communication, I know you're a trick. Your trick is so that I can't keep checking stuff. And I have to keep reading these off. All right, utilities, anything? Bay County utilities? Does that look a little high to anybody, or year to date, 144?
Yeah, I was trying to look. 24 was 184, that's a 731.
Yeah.
Well, that may be a little.
So that 316 number from the prior year.
That was
might have been.
That's a budget. 20. I don't know, where do we get those, where do those numbers come from here? They're all utilities, Bay County.
Hold on one second.
They're all kind of,
And 24 is about 180.
yeah, but even 24 budget, we had 316.
Yeah.
We proposed 316 and 25.
Hey guys, is that Mike, you might want to look into for us?
We got 144 year to date, but we're up 350 this year. See that, Garrett?
Mhm. Yeah, I really.
Well, that
don't
is,
think
you're
it's
looking at,
realistic.
at Bay County,
This is-
probably looking at maybe a 22, I'm just looking, eyeballing it, maybe $23,000 a month on average
Mm-hmm.
for Bay County.
So 12, that's 3 something, yeah. So it looks like we have some other costs coming in quick over the next couple of months.
Yeah, for real.
'Cause
Yeah,
it's
'cause
not
we
tracking,
build,
it's not tracking what the budgeted number is, the actual.
Mm-mm.
yeah, so we've only, yeah, well, so we're about 20 grand off, so we've only billed, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, that's 9 months of billing.
Yep. Can you, just maybe look in there, see if that's,
Yep.
okay, rental leases, anything?
Ooh. Garrett, what are you doing there?
Yeah. What's happening there?
You could scratch that, maybe,
Oh, scratch it.
well, no. We run a little bit. We can bring it down. Well, I'm gonna say this. I know what it is, Mr. Wolf. The reason we have that budgeted so high is because we haven't had to rent many bypass pumps. So that's where that number is coming from.
So it's kinda like an insurance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now our head can break loose, and we have to have five bypass pumps at 5 different stations for a month span, which is, it's kind of out there, but it's possible. It could happen. So I wouldn't touch that number just as a
Well, I mean,
We're doing the installations too.
So Gary, just curious, because my brain's flashing back to your capital budget or your wish list, the vacuum truck. We have to rent one of those every time.
Yes, sir.
Where's that reflected in the expenses?
That will come out of repairs and maintenance. What, as far as us using the vac truck?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that would be under repairs.
Yes, sir. And we haven't used them. I was hoping y'all would approve that for us, because we have a lot of work to do with the sewer system. And I've been trying to hold off on it, but the easiest way to tell you guys, you can take however many streets we have in the city of Mexico Beach, times it by 1,500. And that's what it would take to get that's just the sewer line, gravity line within the system that needs to be clean, yes, sir. And hasn't been done since the storm. And that's not including backing out the lift stations. You have to back out the lift stations, and you can spray the lift stations as well. And that wouldn't help. I mean, the vac truck would not only help us, it would help Mark with Cobra. Because, I mean, storm drain, yes, sir. If you pulling that line back, it's gonna come with mud, and you got to have somewhere to get that mud out of the line. So that's where the vacuum truck comes into play. It has both of them.
So, I mean, I gotta ask again. So, because you want these trucks and stuff, and then we have these categories like rentals and leases, which you have to have the category. But in 24, year to date was 971. You had 30 budgeted then. And obviously in 25, we kept it the same. We're whatever it is, 29,720 is what you're saying. And so far you've spent $1,100.
Yes, sir. Because
but you want the same budget amount next year.
Now, the thing that's hitting that rentals and leases line again on this budget is just the Pitney Bowes. That's all that is. So that number right there could easily come down to, that's the only thing that's hitting this budget line is Pitney Bowes, their portion of the leases and postage costs for it's extrapolated out.
So we're obviously putting something in the wrong category or doing something.
He's talking about rentals and leases, right?
I'm under rentals and leases.
Yeah.
The $1,110 there is for copying?
The $1,110 is throughout the copiers and postage.
No,
He's on rentals and leases.
you see that line item?
Yeah, $1,100.
Yeah, we budgeted 30,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is the only item that has been hitting the rental and leases line is cost for Pitney Bowes machines and.
Okay, you're identifying with the expenditure.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that 29,720, if his regular leases or rentals that he might be talking about are going into repairs and maintenance. So that is more than likely a budget line item that can be significantly reduced.
Right. Most likely, he's putting it in a different place.
It's going.
Yeah. He said he's been putting it under repairs and maintenance.
Repairs and maintenance.
But then we'll jump down to that, and there we go again.
And then printing and binding.
We're $100,000.
Okay, so this is a financial adjustment, not him making that adjustment, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's a reduction that can happen on the budget.
All right, so we
Very
need to
easily.
note that it's gonna get fixed.
So,
He's gonna take that 29 out of there probably and just put it at,
But then he's gonna shift that down to repairs and maintenance, which we've already got. We had 170 last year.
That's probably where his true,
We only spent 35 and 24, and you see where I'm going with this.
but they have spent so they've doubled it over since '24.
yeah,
Yeah, they've spent 61 year to date, I get that.
so let's just get and clarify. I know what you're looking for. Obviously, we wanna reduce the number, but rentals and leases, he's identified that that's paper, whatever you
Copy,
call it.
leases.
Copier. So that 29,720 is not real. You're gonna readjust that. You may take some of that and put it in repairs and maintenance, is that true?
I guess that's where it should go.
Well,
But we've already got a proposed
But you-
200,000.
Yeah,
But
that's
you're
what
already
we're
over budget, so now you're almost at a $500,000.
but, I'm trying to think, if I take from that account, that does not mean that, because that does not mean I have to add it somewhere else.
Right, you're just gonna.
No, you don't have to.
You're
You're
gonna
right.
delete it, yeah.
And if I look at repairs and maintenance, we got budgeted 170, right now we're at 60 something, they've asked for 200. I'm thinking I can put rentals and leases at $2,200 for next year, and then there's, $27,000 that's not gonna be in that
Yeah.
budget.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah, and then we'll get down to the.
But then we need to go to the next line item.
Well, but, yeah, I mean, I hate to jump around, but.
Well, no, go ahead.
You want that vacuum
We'll
truck, we're
need
gonna
to-
try to find an end.
Well, but that's my point is, if historically $61,000 is on the average side, if we add $20,000 to that for his repairs and maintenance, and take the balance of that, which would, leave you $180,000 toward the capital to buy his vacuum truck. Just right there. You
Yeah,
see,
looking for money, yeah.
I'm trying to
Don't
help.
justify it.
Yeah, no, we gotta get to that.
Well, I mean, the point I was gonna make about the 200,000, we do, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, our sewer system is in bad condition. Thank you guys for letting us get down look in 14th Street rehabilitated. We really need that, but we do have other stations within our system that need the discharge line removed and put stainless steel in them. We got lines with, matter of fact, Mr. Wolf, I think we took you to 6 in Florida. It was me, you, and Mr. Jerry, and I think I showed y'all where we had the wrap on it, and the water was spraying out the side, so it's
Right.
making it,
Right.
it's running a lot longer than what it should be. So we have repairs within our system that, once again, like I said, I've been trying to put them off as long as I could, to not blow up my budget, but the repairs are there. And like I mentioned earlier, with us having to call SIS down here to vacuum out a station and jet a line, I mean, you take however many streets we got within the system, times about 1,500.
Here's what I would suggest you do. I would suggest that we make the changes that we need to make financially.
Yes, sir.
I think you take that, and move it to 2,200, take out that 29,700. So that's fixed as far as rentals and leases. You move down to the maintenance, repairs and maintenance. I think you and, city administrator gotta get together
Yes,
and
sir.
decide what you wanna do and how you want it, cause you're only showing $61,000 and you're asking for 200,000 going into the next year.
Yes, sir.
You need to justify that, and I think between the two of you, you probably get together and justify that to the council.
Yes, sir.
Because right now, it's just not coming out that way.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Well, also keep in mind now, we're talking about an enterprise fund that has its own revenue stream and that sort of thing. And this doesn't affect the millage rate whatsoever. But if you don't have extra fat in his budget and he has a major break in that line, and you start getting all these equipments in that we don't have and start getting the rentals up there, we're gonna be spending major bucks and not that, mad people with their lines down. And if you have to change the appropriation orders, that takes too much.
Yes. great point, Mr. Mayor, great point. And I didn't even think about that part.
And I guess you'll tell us, I mean, we'll get into it, this will come on different forms of balances.
Yeah, but I do understand what you're saying too.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have excess expense budget in there if it's not needed.
Yes, sir.
So we're keeping that in mind as well.
Yeah, between two of you come up with a number that's 150, or whatever the number is, and it doesn't affect me, very answer. Okay. Just cleaning up the budget items. Printing and binding, I guess that's the same as, last time, just a shared expense. Other, current charges, any questions?
What's a big increase for printing and binding?
Did you share that expense, Mike? Printing and binding?
4,700. Line count.
Again, that's their portion of, the lease for the printers.
Going into 2026 will be $5,000.
Wow.
Well, right now, it's 12, so we got 3 more months at about $100 a piece. So you're looking at $1,600 would be probably our cost for this year.
Okay. So do you want to change that $5,000 number to a shared cost amongst the staff? This is just cleanup, like Mel said.
And again, and we can, that will be well, I'll be in there with Mel and them, but yeah, we can clean that up, because the one good thing I liked about this process, and the department heads actually came to me while we were doing the audit, and expressed that they appreciate being part of and picking their budget and being able to take a stab at their budget for this year. So I will give them the equal respect back to them, to sit down with them each individually and say, all right, let's see what we can do better. I'll have Springbrook open, we can see the details, and then give them some more realistic figures that will be justifiable, following the council's phrase as, this is what does it cost to operate this enterprise fund, and then they have a reserve that, kind of like the general government has the general fund, they have that reserve there. If they do have an emergency, there's a little bit there to, to be able to help them. But yeah, we will definitely meet back with them all again and give them a chance to reevaluate their requests.
Good approach. All right. Current charges, any questions? Office supplies, any questions? Operating supplies,
Yeah,
have questions?
yeah, it's kind of the same as the rest, the last 3.
Yeah.
What's in there?
That's just a little bit of, that's Ace Hardware, Empire, St. Joe Auto, Ace, Momar, Cormain.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it went from 30 to 35, but they've spent 10 year to date, spent 3,624 with a little bit more than that, depending on the last few months. Do we need to?
And when I add in, I will also.
It's a 17% increase, but we're not really been using it.
So per the council's request, when I do add in the actuals for 24, and when Mel and I meet with the department heads, we will have 2 years of actuals that they can look at, and that will be history enough to be able to determine, going forward, their adjustments on their budgets.
Okay.
I thought I was gonna have a weekend off.
You still got-
Uniforms, any questions? Uniforms? Nothing? Fuel and lubricants?
They'll probably hit that, because
Yeah.
I said there's 3 more months left on that, so they'll probably be real close to that.
Okay. Memberships? What happened there?
Doing, Garrett, where you sending them?
Say that one more time.
Memberships, where you sending them?
You going to Hawaii?
Well, I was telling Mr. I think me and Mr. Mike was talking, well, me and Mr. Mike and Mr. Mel, that is part of.
You're offering some new training to.
Yes, sir.
some
Well,
individuals.
yeah, especially on this side of it. Sewer training, none of the guys had it. So what that would be is like training on the lift station. On the other side, the water side of it, you know, that's the distribution licenses, your distribution test, and your Class C water license. That's the difference between this. And the guys need training, so I think that $4,000 should stay there in order to get them the proper training that they never had.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm okay with that, reading that and saying that that's fine.
Yes, sir.
But we had 0 and 25.
No, we didn't have any training.
All right, time to get started.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. What is this, the USDA?
The bonds
Okay,
paid annually.
all right. Same thing, right? That's the interest in it?
Yep.
All right. You got anything else, Garrett?
No, sir, that's it. I just wanted to clarify, the last time I was up here talking about the water meters. We got 520 meters, on the reread list, and we have a total of 110 that's left, out of 400.
Okay. Just say, just a minute, how about the capital equipment there?
Okay.
A crane truck, a truck, or?
We have the crane truck, we have the truck, we pretty much have everything on this list.
That next column shows the items that works. They've been expensed. They've been purchased.
So all these, so you saved a little on the crane, saved another $8,000 on the truck, we knew that. Blah, 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 we saved a little there, but then over here in this line item, you want an additional, I don't know, what's that, am I looking at
Set
something?
aside.
That 600,000 is for the back truck, the $100,000 is
Yeah.
set aside for the force main, either, I have replaced recoat, but Garrett did talk to me yesterday and said scratch, recoat, it's gonna be a replace.
Replace, yes, sir.
Where
And
was
then,
that?
The 14-inch force main out on Tyndall, as everybody know, that is our problem child, that force main. And we've had break after break after break. Thank God it hasn't been too bad, because, I mean, it could come to the point where we got to shut that force main down completely, which will be another bill coming out of the repairs and maintenance, while we should keep it in there. We would have to call SIS to bring the tankers down, and that, within itself is very expensive. And that's not including, we probably wouldn't be able to do it ourselves, so we would have to hire a contractor to come in and replace that line, so.
So, where was that?
It's right there
On the back? We got the 6, we got the 100,
yeah,
we got the
100 is for that.
100 is set aside for that, okay, so the 30 set aside for the pumps.
100,000 is all it'll take to.
No, that's a year. That's
So
just
I noticed you did not, and this might be in the capital stuff, Wayne, didn't, you know, put any money in your capital replacement fund, is that coming up on your?
Well, next week we'll go into the capital.
Okay, capital.
But that's why he put these other ones in, I was like, well, I didn't see it.
And that's all the fun.
Well, that's why I put, Jason, that's why I put on the side there, I will be moving that.
Well, we'll move July 25th, I got you. Good, thanks for that.
All right, thank you, Garrett.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, believe it or not, we're getting to the end here. I want to thank everybody for putting in 5 hours of work. It's great to do. We got a lot to do as far as, next week. This is all our time, okay? This is the council's time and staff time to put things together. This last 2 weeks have been exactly that. There's nothing that's required by the state or anybody else, but we do have some deadlines we have to hit. And I think the first one is August the 4th. August the 4th. So we have to present a
proposed millage rate and the date of our first hearing, which we've already set, so the only thing we really need to do in 3 weeks is get a proposed millage rate.
Okay, so we have one meeting scheduled for the 25th, I believe, is that right?
Next Friday.
Next
From
And,
today?
and these meetings do not have to be on Fridays. I just copied a prior calendar, that's why they've been on Friday.
That would be our third meeting, which would be a Friday. And we're gonna cover, so far, based on our conversations, sanitation, vehicles, the complete capital for 26, and we're gonna come up with a millage rate. Everybody's seeing the numbers, and if you look at last year's number of budget of, don't hold me to the exact number, somewhere around that 8.5, I think, somewhere around there, was it? About 8.5, and then you apply the new ad valorem tax over again, which is an increase of 767 or something like that. That's a combined 9.2, 9.3, somewhere around there. So obviously, our budget's gonna increase based on that information alone. So the only way that we can reduce the millage rate is to hammer at the budget. And that's what we're gonna have to do. We have to One of the other areas that we should get and look at is the general fund. Is it time for us to take a look at spending some of our own money to buy down?
It's, yeah, I can't really get a handle on it just yet on these numbers, because it's just the first time and there's, Mel, have y'all run this proposed? I didn't see it at the end, and it's, you can't do it without the insurance, but as it's set, what you presented us to the revenues we got coming in, have y'all kind of even looked at that, or where we
We
might?
looked at it, but does it mean anything at this point?
I know, it just doesn't, I just didn't.
Right, but it's not looking good. So, you know, we've got the meeting next week, which the mayor just went over what our agenda's going to be. You know, last year we had quite a few meetings in August, and we're gonna have to have probably at least a couple in August
Yeah.
to get things nailed down. So I do have the August calendar here. Are we okay with the Friday morning meetings, or do you wanna go to a Thursday morning meeting? What do you think?
I'm thinking about Jason not being able to be here today. Is Friday a bad day for him? Is that right?
Eric,
I'm sorry, Eric.
I think he's out of town.
Oh,
I think it was one of
okay. It
those
wasn't the daily
engagements.
week, okay.
It's up to you, I'm good. I
Fridays
would
are-
hope that these meetings
Fridays
should
are-
start time-wise shrinking a tad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think this was and we can take this home and really go through and mark it up, so we're not sitting here.
And we know you.
And again, as you guys,
Got it.
as the council members review all that, you know where my office is, and I have all the details, so when you have questions, come by and I'll be able to dig into the details for you. I can't,
Yeah, you got enough on your plate to finish getting us the insurance, these other numbers.
and those were, and the unfortunate things that we're waiting on is, we're waiting on them instead of them.
What, Mr. Mayor, just interesting thing you mentioned about spending some of our own money. And there again, just still trying to learn the waters here, but for a city our size, what's an appropriate amount for us to retain in our general fund outside of our, what I consider those CDs to be resiliency money? As a general fund, because we got some big, I listen to our department heads, and we all want to be fiscally responsible, and we don't want to spend money that doesn't need to be spent. But like when Garrett's talking about the force main, that's gonna, we're either gonna fix it or it's gonna blow up, and we're gonna have to fix it. So do we like provide some of these capital resources to our departments And the only way to do that and maintain anything that resembles a budget of reason is to dip in and spend some of that, quote, general fund. So what's the sentiment of the council as to what does that number need to be? I mean, I think Mel might be a good resource for a city our size. How much do we need to have as a float?
I think you talked about that
Yeah.
last meeting.
4 to 6 months of
4 to 6
operating.
months.
Which boils down to,
Well, if our budget is, general fund of about 3 to 5 million, then
So,
$4 million.
I'm gonna speak out loud here. That's the other thing, we've got an $8.5 million budget, and I haven't sat down, but we have a lot of projects that we are carrying over, so it's a little skewed. Because we've got millions and millions that we haven't spent, that was in last year's budget. So we've got our base operating costs is what I call it. And then I know the other stuff that's put into the budget, which is rightfully so. And then that's where the capital improvements come from that. So, I don't know, we need to get the operating, my thought is I wanna get that operating number, what that true,
You're looking for the bottom line numbers so we can see
Yeah.
what the increase is.
because, yeah, I mean, like we said, it's 8.5 and it's gonna be bigger, but there's gonna be a lot of carryover money, and I haven't even looked it up. I mean, it's in here, but we'll get it.
Yeah, do simple math. If we were just do a budget just like we did last year of 8.5, we could actually reduce the millage rate by 0.75% because we increased the ad valorem tax. But we're not gonna come at nowhere near what I see, an 8.3 or 8.5. There's no way. So we need to know what that number is so that we can even.
Yeah, I know that, but there's so much carryover. What did we really spend out of the 8.5?
Jason, that's my point, is if the general fund is continuing to balloon because we're not spending the money, why are we not spending the money?
You see, well, you haven't been here long enough. I've only been here, I haven't been here long enough either. We allot the money for projects and it takes forever to get that project, but then that money rolls,
I get
still
all that.
there.
I get all
I
that.
think that we as a council have said we were trying to get that process traction and get these things done in a more timely manner. One, to make sure the cost increases don't go up astronomically. And two, we really need to spend money in budget money years. I mean,
Exactly,
it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, and to your number, you're looking at, if you're $700,000 or $800,000 a month to save, saving wise, you're only looking at, at the most, you need to have on the books maybe 4 or 5,000,
4 or 5
million, and we're at probably 14. So there's some
So, I
room
get-
there. And as far as projects, I mean, if you look at projects, I mean, we just okayed the amphitheater, we okayed the bridge.
Oh, I'm not being critical, I'm just saying that, let's get our number down, know what we're gonna be looking at for next year. But likewise, let's don't keep, turning a deaf ear to the 14-inch force main.
Right.
Just so you know, the 14-inch force main was never paid for out of the general fund before. It was a massive borrowing done for that, and we pay off every year that shows up in the budget line.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not something that was ever paid for originally from general funds. So
But we're paying for it just like
Yeah,
a
but it's a
mortgage.
relatively small amount of money on a yearly basis in comparison to what it cost us before pay $1 million straight off just to go repair it. You could invest that $1 million, you probably make more than you're gonna end up having to pay in interest rates from the bank.
Yeah, I think Mr. Cox is talking about too, is if we had an appetite, and that was the last meeting we had, to lower the millage rate, to me, the only way we're gonna be able to do that, based on everything that I see, is to be able to buy it now. To some degree. Unless you start chopping this thing to death.
No, we wanna keep about, but we, yeah. I'm not trying to throw out, it's nothing to do with, I feel like the village needs to come back. And if we can't do it, if the numbers are there and we can prove it, then I guess that's the way it is, but I just,
I'd like to see the millage come down too, but I'm almost on board with the mayor. If that's our goal, is to reduce the millage, I think we're gonna have to buy it down. If we can red pin these budgets to death and back, and we're not gonna get it to a point where we can get it to a 5-0 millage rate.
well, that's, if we're gonna start talking about it like that, then we get our general operating expenditures, and then we have this money, we use money in the bank for capital improvements, and we know where it goes for the bigger projects, am I not?
That's what I was saying.
Am I missing something
No,
there?
I
think
That's
it's
an easy
saying-
math.
Budget the capital projects maybe outside of the budget, because you have the funds, there are funds available.
For some of the capital items, then we don't have to include them in our operating budget. That's kind of where I was going with that. Because it is gonna be an extreme challenge to do what most taxpayers want, a lower tax bill, and do what the city needs to get done. So without spending some of that capital
So,
to buy it down, and to use, Mr. Wolf, your term.
so you had a thing here, and I know we've been here forever.
It shows a no.
A $500,000 reduction is $426,000. That's not a lot.
No, and I think.
And I'm not saying, this ain't gonna, this is, I mean, we're on, whatever, everybody can hear it. It's not a every year, but we've looked historically what we can run, and we've always been able to put money back. So that's,
And I think we need to continue to be able to put money back.
yeah, we do.
But we've gotten to a point now where we have a large enough cash reserve that I think we can do both.
I would hate to say,
We can trim these numbers, and I think we can do some of the capital projects that desperately need to be done, and still achieve both things.
but I would hate to say that's where I'm getting into millage, using millage money operating. We know day to day, everything's gotta come in. We obviously always put stuff in there for everything. But I don't wanna say we're having to use revenue to buy down millage. If we have to use revenue on a capital project,
Well, let's say it that way.
is,
You don't have to, it's just one of those.
yeah, no, I know, I would hate, cause that's really, the next year we have to go back up on,
Yeah.
we don't wanna get into
No,
that
no.
habit.
It says, and I keep going back to this because I think that's something that council, we all have to remember. I hate to think that this is simple math, and that's not to knock you guys and all you do in counting life. But to me, it becomes simple math when you look at it as, if you have a 5.5 budget, you get increased by $700,000 that you're gonna bring in. That's 9.3. That's 9.3 at 5.75. If you don't do anything to reduce this, you can't reduce that.
Exactly.
So, and I know, just by looking at these numbers, and you guys all know it, 9.3 is not the number. It's a lot bigger number, is it not, Mel?
It is.
So we're in the hole before we even get started.
But that's where also in the hole, but that's also where the tough decisions have to be made, because the big part of that number is our capital. But, do we need to, I guess heart to hearts need to be taken with each department head and said, all right, what is a need versus a want? Because eventually, down the line in that CIP, year 3 and year 4, they're not wants anymore, they're needs now. So
Right.
it's gonna keep on, progressing. So hard, this is our first year with the CIP,
and it's gonna be the first year with a hard decision.
And you make a good point, because the operating cost is not gonna even get us there. We're gonna be able to get some money out of the budget, I believe that, but I don't think that's gonna get us there. What's gonna get us there is, do we spend $4 million on the jetty? Do we spend $2 million on the boat ramp? Those are the decisions that are
Those
gonna
are
be
the tough decisions that have to be made.
They're gonna be the tough ones that we gotta make.
And let me know what, we'll know soon enough, like we keep talking about our budget's $8.5 million. How much did we spend this year? Did we spend $5 million?
Well, I don't have it. I'll tally that up. in
Here's
email
year to
you.
date.
Yeah, I'll
Year to
give
date,
you year to date.
5.2.
That's where we are now.
You'll only have another month or so of that number, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got 2.5 months more worth of expenses that we'll be billing out. So I mean.
And it's all gonna carry, it's projects that we have, we've allotted the money, we're not, it's gonna go into technically this year's.
Yeah,
But we do have items, as the mayor said, I mean, on a different note, we know, we've seen some of the estimates already come in, the jetties, and the, you know, 'cause y'all ask us for our views, like the things we want, I mean, I already know a few items that are automatically coming down that I'm like, well, it's hard to, when I know this is sitting on the, in the room.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, we're coming down to the end here, so, everybody look at your numbers, make sure you get with Mel and also, Mike, and give them your input, and we will have some more numbers put together here real quick. Friday.
Well, next week, a week from today.
Oh, sir, motion to adjourn?
Oh, yeah. Motion to adjourn.
second.
It's supposed to be scheduled 3.
Yeah, no, no.
Next week is 4.